Hi everybody, it's Yvonne DiVita from BlogPaws, and today I have with me Dr. Marty Becker. This is our first time meeting each other. Marty, I'm so happy to meet you, and I'm so happy you're coming to BlogPaws. I mean, I would do cartwheels, but I think I might hurt myself. So for today, tell us a little bit more about you and what what you're doing. You're one of the busiest people on the planet.
I just got off the phone with American Express, and they were saying, "You have how many membership miles there?" Well, I've flown over 4 million miles just on Delta, so I've probably flown about 5 million miles in my lifetime. Been to 81 countries, been to 49 of the 50 states in depth. Used to take the month of October off with my family and travel around. We usually take a month and go to 3 states, but haven't been to North Dakota, but that's about to change. I'm going there this summer to actually talk about Fear Free. I live up here. I was born and raised in Idaho, and no matter where you go around the world, literally, what a brand when you say Idaho potatoes.
Oh yeah, sure.
You can be in Mumbai and with a taxi driver. Where are you from? United States, Idaho. Oh, Idaho potatoes, you know. But that was in the southern part of the state where we used to live on a small farm, had a small beef cow herd, a small dairy cow herd, chickens, pigs, horses, sheep.
Wow.
It's like the ark unloaded there. And now I live in extreme northern Idaho, and that's where my wife is from. So we're up in where, if you know your geography, there's a Trivial Pursuit question: what state's surrounded by 6 states in a foreign country?
Oh man, that makes sense.
Idaho. Yeah, so it's very tall, Idaho. It's the full height of Washington and Oregon to the west, and the full height of Montana and Wyoming to the east. But up at the top, it's only 45 miles wide in a little stovepipe, and so we live right up there at the tip of the stovepipe, 7 miles from Canada, 15 miles from Montana, 30 miles from Washington State on a horse ranch.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So I just talked to another speaker, Karen Diebert, and she grew up on a farm and a ranch, and we talked a little bit about that because a lot of people, I don't know, I probably would have if I'd grown up on a farm, but they named the farm animals and they become sort of like pets.
Right. We had that, even though it was before the time. Our dairy cows had names, and it's really interesting. One of the things you learn growing up on a farm and a ranch, we're on this big thrust about creating fear-free veterinary visits. But if you grow up on a farm and a ranch, you know anxiety and fear. If a horse is anxious or fearful, A, you're not going to be able to catch it, or B, you're going to get thrown off or hang on. If the dairy cows that we had, if they're getting bitten by heel flies and are running, or there's a Springer heifer that doesn't know the routine, that you go into the barn and you go into this stall, they're running back around, you're trying to get them in there and the cows run, they're not going to give as much milk. And the chickens that are stressed, they don't give as many eggs. And so you learn intuitively that you got to move towards calm and away from fearful or anxious. But the people that haven't had that background, they almost all know it from a dog, though.
Yeah. Well, I think we're learning certainly, as I grew up, none of us, we didn't do that. We had pets, but they were just animals that we rug. And even though we loved them, but I think we're learning today there's a real connection between the human-animal bond and how they can teach us to calm down and be a little bit more focused inward instead of outward, because that's where all the stress is. I just feel that way. And I'm learning. I continue to read and learn. I learn from people like you because you write about it and you help us understand it. And so at BlogPaws, tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing at BlogPaws.
First of all, I can't wait to go to BlogPaws. So many people say, did you go to BlogPaws? Gosh, I didn't this year. Did you go to BlogPaws? No, I didn't this year. Oh my God, you should go to BlogPaws. So lo and behold, I'm going to go to BlogPaws. So I'm really excited to see, it's a high profile event, and I'm excited to be part of it. So what I'm passionate about, you can tell when I was just in South America for 6 weeks on a trip, and down there, most of the men and the women, they don't get gray haired in older life. So they're they're still have black hair, and they're really black hair, and they're older. So
wow,
they were calling my hair Arctic blonde, or glacial blonde or something. But
interesting.
I'm 62 years old. I was going to slow down. I've traveled all over the world. I live in this beautiful, almost heaven ranch is what the name of our place is, northern Idaho. But I, fortunately and unfortunately, tongue-in-cheek on the latter part, I heard a veterinary behaviorist speak 6 years ago, and she talked about how fear was the worst thing a social species could experience and how it caused permanent damage to the brain. She went on to explain about the healthcare system of the 50s and 60s, that we were about the same age, and the dependent beings in human healthcare were children, and we were manhandled, manipulated, threatened, and abused. I remember her giving her description. I remember laying over probably a naga hide doctor's table. It had a roll of paper that they'd roll up and down. You'd lay on this paper. And he had me pull my pants down and gave me a shot in my left butt cheek. Whatever it was like liquid fire.
Oh.
I started crying, and my mom raises her hand, "Shut up, Marty. I'll give you something to cry about." That was the comfort I got.
Yeah.
And my sister, she went to the dentist in her ponytail. He jerked her ponytail to get her to keep her mouth open. So, yeah, that wasn't, nobody's going to call the state. We didn't know who to call, but nobody was going to complain. It was like, oh, heck yeah, sure, I'll keep your mouth open. But now we know that things have changed, and when my granddaughter goes to the pediatrician or the dentist, oh my gosh, it's a super comfy heated seat, and she gets to pick the color of the LED lights. She gets to pick the video she watches. She has noise cancellation headphones and anti-glare glasses and great gifts. And if need be, they have a pet, an animal-assisted therapy pet they can wheel over. So basically what we're doing in veterinary medicine is the same thing. We're getting to where we don't just focus on physical well-being, but on the pet's emotional well-being. Our slogan is "Take the pet out of petrified." And there's been 160 plus people working for 5+ years now, and we know how to do it. We know how to get a dog to where it actually wants to go to the vet, and a cat to where it's neutral. And so we're going to talk about how you do that. What's the pet owner's responsibility for taking a pet to the vet? What changes inside the hospital? And then also talk some about the movement to create more enrichment activities in people's homes. If you think of a zoo is an enclosure of some kind that keeps an animal inside, and our homes and our yards are the same thing. There's often more enrichment activities in a zoo for a felid or a canid than there is at home. So we're going to look at helping you remove or reduce the anxiety triggers that you or the people that you influence come across, and increase the number of enrichment activities. How can this animal manifest its genetic exuberance in a way that still fits within our life, within our lives and our homes? And we're learning a lot about it, and I'm anxious to share that with people.
I'm anxious to have you come and do that. It's so important. It's funny because our dogs are shelter rescues. One's a puppy mill mama, and you know what? They still make messes on the floor. They still have, little times when they're scared. She's scared of thunderstorms. And back in the day, it would be like, just tell them to be quiet, make them sit in the corner.
Right.
You don't do that anymore. It's like, I can clean the floor. If it's part of the rug, I can clean the rug. It's not like it was. So I'm anxious. I'm eager to have you come, and I'm eager to meet you in person and have you at BlogPaws. So we have to kind of wrap up now for today. But before we go, I would love for you to share with us what your pet project is today.
My pet project is really no pet. Here's my pet project. When I was younger, they were animals around the farm. They had a utilitarian role. They retrievers. They herded our cattle. They guarded our stuff. Alarm barked when somebody came in. I saw a move from an animal to a pet, to where now they got to come inside. They moved from the barnyard to the backyard, to the back door, to inside the house, to the bedroom to sleep. And now we're considering our pets really as children. Most of us call ourselves our pets mom and dad. We've got 5 dogs in the house here, and I always say, "Come on, son," And so, they have human names. We consider them our children. What I want for them is a recognition that when I graduated from veterinary school in 1980, I was taught that pets didn't feel pain. And most of the people of our generation were taught they didn't feel pain. If they did, it was good because they would stay more immobile and not hurt, damage a fracture, repair sutures. So now to look back, it's like, what? I mean, the animals have the same neural pathways. Of course they feel pain. So now in a veterinary hospital, you'll have pain medication before, during, after. My pet project is to realize that animals have emotions very similar to what we have about feeling anxious or fearful or stressful or comforted and loved. And so we work to protect and nurture the emotional well-being of animals.
Awesome. I'm all about that. So anything I can do, I need to learn more, and I need to be able to share it. Get it out there in front of as many people as possible.
Well, do you know what? There are pets that have noise phobias, like you talk about thunderstorms. It often escalates as they get older. It starts. I have a new little dog now, a distemper survivor, and he's starting to become afraid of the leaf blower. And so rather than just ignoring it, we're actually working to mitigate that, because pretty soon it becomes the vacuum, and pretty soon it becomes the buzzer on the stove, and then it's thunderstorms, and then it's fireworks, and then it's opening day of hunting season. So I just have to tell you, I can bring something natural for your pet, and also tell you about a prescription that any dog that has a noise phobia doesn't have to suffer at all. Literally in a magic. Some can be a chill pill, some are a garment, but also there's a prescription. If those don't work, and I have a dog here that the chill pills and the Thunder Shirt or the Calms wrap don't work, it's generic Xanax, and it works every time. They do not
maybe
suffer.
I'm going to need to talk to you because she's just a sad little thing when we have thunderstorms or
I think they're dying.
Levels too high.
Yeah, they think they're dying. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that.
We'll talk further about that. Dr. Marty Becker, thank you so much for spending time with us today, and I can't wait to see you in June.
Me too. Thank you, and blessings.